Hey guys! Today I wanted to discuss the importance of a routine, especially if your child's young and you're kind of new to this. You might not be so familiar with how important a routine is, but if your child is autistic, routine is very important. And it's something that you might not always have to have, but once you get it in order and they are successful with it, you can kind of fade it back, but it will make a huge difference in your child's behavior and anxiety, because when you are nonverbal or minimally verbal or even verbal but don't have the best receptive comprehension, you kind of create this anxiety when you're asked to do something new or you're shuffled around to do something new because you don't really know what's going on, and that creates that anxiety, which creates those behaviors. So the first thing you can do, and it's probably the simplest, is create a routine for your kid, especially over the summer. And what that doesn't have to look like every 5 minutes you've got this extremely academic task or something to build his fine motor skills or her fine motor skills. It just means you've got this structured routine that your kid can kind of predict after a few days. And preferably you would combine this with a visual schedule. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with those, but typically they look like, along the way most people do them, is a long strip of Velcro, and you take pictures, and they can just be like flat 2D pictures or actually pictures of objects or representations of things, and you put them in order based on what you're doing next. And so it doesn't necessarily need to have a time, especially if your child's younger. And so they wake up in the morning and the first thing on their schedule, so you take them to their schedule, it have a list of things, and it doesn't have to be the full day, it could be the first quarter of the day, and then you can put more on after you've gone through all of them, and you take them to it and it has like breakfast on it. And so you pull that off, and it might be hand over hand the first few times, and you take them to the breakfast area and you eat breakfast. And then the second one could be, if you're wanting them to put their dishes away, it could be something like that, or it could just be transitioning to the living room to do reading, or it doesn't have to be reading, it doesn't have to be academics. It's just, I'm trying to think of examples off the top of my head. Like, it could be free time, or you could even specify that free time. Like, you can have the YouTube or the computer for 1 hour, or the iPad for an hour. And so you take them to their schedule again. You've already removed that breakfast one because that's done and it's not going back on. And the next one is that computer time. And so you remove it. And so I would also set a visual timer for however long that you are going to allow them to be on the next center for, maybe visual and auditory. So like it counts down, or sand drops down, or just something where they can see where it's ending, like it fills up all the way and then it dings, So timers are really important too. I'll probably go into it on another video. But and so they get computer time for that time. And then the next time could be brushing your teeth or taking a shower. Just chunk it up throughout the day. And it can be as long as you want or as little as you want. But that will make a huge, huge difference, especially if it's a younger kid who hasn't been exposed to routine yet and a schedule. Once you get that in order, I have seen amazing things happen, especially if they're nonverbal. I've seen a verbal communication start to come around, or even attempted communication, because they understand what's coming around. And behaviors they will just start to decrease because they get it. They get the routine, and children with autism tend to be such creatures of routine, and they really flourish off of it. So it is one of my priority steps when working with a child with autism as a parent or as a therapist. So I hope that helps.